watching. You are watching.
You're watching. You guys are watching.
You're watching. Watching Soulful Discussion.
So hi, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's awesome. It's my birthday today. So
happy birthday!
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I caught you. It's a whole new thing. You're doing a YouTube video on your birthday.
Exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so, how did our paths cross today? How did we just meet?
Sorry, what?
How did we just meet? Right now?
So I was just walking here in Playa del Rey. I think this is the area,
Yeah.
and you just asked me, and I said, of course.
Absolutely. And what is the interview going to be about? What are we going to talk about?
I asked you, and you mentioned something about how the mental health, reflexology, mental health.
And one other thing.
Yes, I forgot.
Feet.
The feet.
Feet.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And so, in terms of mental health, are there any topics that you follow, you research, anything like that you know about?
Yes, actually, I really like to share about positive things, spirituality, and inspirational topics. So that really helps, to cope with the day-to-day challenges that focus. That normally the mind is kind of the tricky part of our daily lives.
Yeah, of our whole life.
Yeah.
Right? So today, we're going to talk about the topic in terms of the mental health. It's going to be about anxiety and depression.
Sure.
So it'll be some interesting information that you learn today. And reflexology, you're not familiar with that, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so I'm going to dive in and give you some information that may be helpful to you, okay?
Sure. Perfect.
So let's start with the questions, okay? What's something that you like that other people might find to be weird? And I'm using the term weird for a reason. It could just be a strange hobby you have or something like that.
Sure, especially when I came here to the US, for me, I really love walking.
Yeah.
Walking very long distance. And this is something that people used to always ask me or say, wow, like how is that you walk like 30 minutes or 40 minutes to go to school when you can
just take a bus
or the car.
Yeah.
And this is something that I would say that
you enjoy it.
I really enjoy.
Absolutely, great.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever made you feel insecure about your body or a body part?
Yes.
Yes.
I can tell, like when I was younger, I remember this situation where I think I was like 5 years old, and one of my friends joked about my body.
Really?
Yeah, like she said like, oh, you have a large butt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I keep that in my mind at times when I think about that. I mean,
oh, wow.
I think we were like just kids, and we don't know what are the consequences of those topics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You never know how it's going to affect you
Exactly.
in the future, right? So how did you get past that? Like, how did you overcome it?
I think, well, I was 5 years old. I don't remember much how that impacted me and how I deal with that. But
maybe just getting older.
Getting older, yeah.
Okay. If there was one thing you could change about yourself, and it doesn't have to be physical, what would it be?
Yeah, my negative thoughts.
Okay, your negative thoughts, you want to get rid of them.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Like at times, I believe or I think that I always think about also the negative, and I wish I could be more like positive in that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, how do you feel about your feet? What are your thoughts?
About what?
About your feet. How do you feel?
Oh, my feet.
How do you feel about it?
I feel.
What are your thoughts about your own feet?
My own feet. They are okay.
Okay. So
they
you
are
like
small.
them? You don't like them?
Neutral, I would
You're
say.
neutral.
Neutral, yeah.
Okay. And you said they're small, so you like that they're small? At least that?
I wish they could be a little bit larger.
Really? What size do you wear?
37, like 7 in the US.
It's like a 7?
Yeah.
So you're
It's
right in
fine.
between. It's an average size.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever received any compliments on your feet? Anybody said you had nice feet?
No.
Really?
I never.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe this video, maybe it'll change. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. How would you feel if a man did give you a compliment about that? If he said you had nice feet, how would you feel about that?
It would feel good.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
compliments are always good.
Yeah,
I
see,
guess.
well, now here's the thing. There's some people who don't believe that. So.
Oh, okay. Well, it's true. Depending on the compliment
context,
or
right?
the context,
Yeah.
the person, and that's
so
true.
now, how do you feel in terms of? Is there a difference for you between the compliments you get from men and women? Do you feel differently about them, or is it the same?
I would believe it's depending on the context. If it's a friend, male or girlfriend, it's going to be the same, I believe. If it's a
Stranger.
I could feel a bit like insecure or.
Really? For both compliments or just for like men? Which one is?
I would say more for men.
More for men.
Yeah.
And I asked that because I interviewed someone earlier in my interviews when I first started, and she said that a lot of times women are taught to be like in competition and hate on other women. So when you get older and you receive compliments from other women, it seems more sincere. And sometimes guys are just giving compliments just to get something in return. Right?
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
What would your thoughts be on if you started dating someone who was into feet? Like if they liked feet, what would your thoughts be if you were dating a guy who was into
like to feet or feet?
Like he likes feet.
Oh, he
like
likes
if you were
feet.
dating a guy who was into that, what would your thoughts be?
I never thought about that.
Yeah? I'm putting you on the spot now.
Yeah. Actually, for me, I would say first I would say it's a bit weird, but
Okay.
It's a new experience.
Yeah,
you learn and probably.
So is it weird because it's new for you?
It would be new for me.
It'd be new for you, so
new
it'd be
for me,
weird.
and I
Okay.
never heard much about that. Like people like
Yeah,
it.
you never really thought about it.
I never thought about that. Yeah.
Okay. When you first start dating someone, when is the appropriate time for you two to talk about the things you're into in terms of like intimacy? Like, I like this, I like that.
I would say also depending on the context, if it's online dating and you meet like for a couple or 3 times, I think from the 3rd or 4th dating time, like
it's okay to start talking about that.
I would say so because like at least after getting to know more or less each other, like what are your values, your interests, like then if it's going well, I think it's good to talk about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
After some.
How often do you get pedicures?
I think I only got in my life like 2 times.
2 times?
Yeah.
In your whole life?
In my whole
Really?
life. Yeah.
Do you not like it or you just never have time?
I don't think it's
You don't
necessary.
think
I mean,
about
for right now, like.
I see. Do you do your own self-care?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like it's necessary to go get that done. You just do it yourself.
Exactly.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
How often do you wear like sandals, flip-flops, open-toe shoes, things like that?
So, of course, when it's summer, I like to wear like sandals, open shoes. At home, I wear flip-flops. Yeah.
So
summer.
So when it's hot.
When it's hot, yeah.
Or when you're at home.
Yeah. Or also, it's true. Like depending if it's like autumn, winter, like if you go out, probably something open.
Because you're what you're wearing, right?
Yeah. But depends also on the city you are, or
That's true.
The weather.
Because in California it's always 70.
Yeah.
So, it's always good, right?
Yeah.
How often do you go barefoot?
I would say yes when I go in the bathroom, like in the shower, and if I am on the beach.
At the beach.
Yeah, at the beach.
So you prefer shoes?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of earthing, grounding? You ever heard of those before?
What's that?
It's a part of reflexology. So it's for people, they believe when their bare feet are touching the ground, that they get energy back from the earth and it runs through their body. It makes them feel the most at one, like with the earth when they're doing that.
Yeah.
You'll find it in a lot of like Native American like cultures, some cultures from Africa, things like that. They believe in that. Yeah.
I see. It's interesting because I went to some acupuncture person, and she recommended me something to put on the feet that has like small.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, things, and she told me like in the feet there are like
pressure
parts.
points.
Yeah, pressure points that I
That's
don't.
the reflexology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See?
And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that. So that's what it's about.
And I think she said whether that's connected with the chakras or some parts, and then she used to tell me that if you put the feet on this it's like it's a plastic device with those things. You can be more focused or
it's
something.
True.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, a lot of people feel like they let go of stress and worries during that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so now, can we see what your feet look like up close?
Sure.
Okay. All right. And so I'm gonna have you put them up here. Leave your socks on for now, and just put them up here. Okay. And both.
Oh, both.
Yeah. You said you were a size 7.
Yes.
Right? Now, does it vary for like sandals, heels, things like that, or is it always the same?
It's always the same.
It's always the same. Okay, cool. All right, and let me get you to extend your legs out straight, and then put your heels up. Like extend your legs all the way out. Like put them flat. Yeah, and then put your. Can I touch your feet? Just
yeah, sure.
Okay. and just do this. And
Okay.
Yeah, like that. There you go. All right. Cool. And then take your socks off.
Sure.
All right. And so size 7, okay, and I see you have the natural toes going right now, right? And lay them down flat so we can see, yeah, there you go. And so you wear size 7, natural toes right now, you do your own self-care. How are you feeling right now? We're going through this process in terms of like you showing your feet. It's interesting, right? It's different, right?
It's different.
Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel uncomfortable? How do you feel?
I feel comfortable.
Okay, cool. Now, let's talk about the mental health. I'm going to tell you why I got into this. And then leave your feet out. We're going to go through a couple more exercises, okay?
Yeah,
leave them out. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got this idea during quarantine. I was watching another guy's channel on YouTube, and he was talking about this mental health subject called DBT. It's dialectical behavioral therapy. Okay, so it's for people who suffer from anxiety, depression, people who like don't live in the moment. So they're presented with a situation and they overthink the situation. Like they think about all the negative things. Like, let's say you have a fear of approaching strangers, right? They'll think about, well, if I go approach this person, they're gonna freak out, they're gonna say something weird to me or something like that, right? So a therapist prescribed for these people is to go out, do that over and over again, right? They want you to get used to feeling uncomfortable. And when you feel uncomfortable, to cope with it and ask yourself, what's the worst that's gonna happen in that situation, right? You do a self-assessment and ask yourself that. And if there's not a threat to your life or to your safety, you do the opposite of what you're feeling. So if you're feeling like withdrawing, they want you to go forward and pursue them.
I see.
Right? What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about that?
I have heard about that.
You've heard about that before?
Yeah. And I think it's a good approach to let it go, the fear and the
Exactly.
anxiety. Like, but I always wonder like how easy is for the person to do that, right?
It's
like
hard.
how to cope with the first step
The
of
first
doing
step,
that.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's one of those things that I would say, because even for me, right, going up and doing these interviews, people tell me all the time, like, you look like you're comfortable, but like, I'm like a duck on the water.
oh, yeah.
Like on the surface, everything's fine, but like underneath, like I'm like shaking, but I just go through with it. So I think the first step is to just do it. Just
do it,
go.
right? Not think.
Yeah,
What
don't
do
think
you-
about
don't
it.
think
Just
and
do it, and you cope with it, whatever the outcome is. Like it could be bad, it may be good, but you have to put yourself out there 1st. That's what it is. So even with this right now, you're putting yourself out there. You just like taking a chance to see what's gonna happen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely. So let's take a couple looks. Let me get you to this, and yeah, put it right here. There you go. And so this is the first time you've done anything like this, right?
This is the first time.
First. All right, and then cross the other way.
Sure.
There we go. And cool. All right, so let's talk about reflexology. Now, reflexology is the pressure points. You have a bunch of pressure points in your hands and in your feet. These pressure points correlate back to other parts of your body. So like you said, you went to go see the acupuncture specialist, and they were telling you about releasing chakras and things like that. So on your hands and feet, you have these areas called zones. So do you ever deal with migraines? Anything like that? You ever
No,
have
I
headaches?
don't normally have.
Okay.
No.
Do you ever get any like pain from working out or anything like that? Like,
Not really.
not really?
No.
Okay, so let's say for example you did, okay?
Sure.
There's portions of your foot that you can massage that can alleviate those tensions you're feeling. So let's say you're sick, you're congested, right? Your lungs are congested. There's an area of your foot you can massage that can alleviate like that what you're feeling. Yeah.
That's great.
And so it's one of those things where it's connected sensory points, but it can be helpful. So as opposed to using over the counter like medicines.
Great.
So what are your thoughts about that? How do you feel?
Oh, I feel like this is very interesting and
Yeah.
very important, right? Like if you can just modify whatever is happening in your body by touching parts of your feet without any medication
Medications
or
and things like
artificial
that,
organic.
right? And so there's actually some shoes that you can get. I interviewed a lady before. They're called grounding shoes. And these basically make you feel like you're barefoot, but you're not. You're wearing sandals. And they have a grounding peg in them to give you that same energy you feel being barefoot. Yeah. They're called Earth Runners.
I see.
Yeah, they're really nice. So she wears those a lot. She told me about those. She was like, yeah, she's like into minimalist footwear. So yeah, she believes in that. So it's really cool.
And there is like a specific shoe for a specific moment of your day.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. So now, with that being said, since we've entered this portion, how ticklish are you?
How what?
How ticklish are you?
What is ticklish?
Ticklish, like if you're like somebody's tickling you.
Oh yeah, I am. I would say yes.
How much? Like a scale of 1 to 10, like what do you think?
I would say 6.
6? Can we test it on camera?
Sure.
Okay. And one's gonna be more sensitive. Let me get you to put them both side by side. Okay. And let's put them like this. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with the right, and
Yeah.
I want you to tell me which one's more sensitive. Let's start here, okay? 1, 2, 3, and where's it more at?
Down.
Right
Down.
here?
No, in the middle, I would say.
Right here.
Yes,
So
yes,
right there
better.
is more ticklish. Okay. All right. Now let's go with the left, and I want you to tell me which one, where is more sensitive at, okay? And is this one less sensitive?
Less sensitive.
Less
yeah.
sensitive. Now I want you to try something and tell me if it's more or less sensitive, okay? Wiggle your toes here. Like wiggle your toes. And then tell me if it's more or less. Less?
Less.
Do you know why?
No?
So because your foot is in motion, while I'm doing that, it can't pick up on the sensation. Like it can't tell that that's happening.
Okay.
Because your foot's in motion.
That makes sense.
Let's try the left. Do the same thing. Okay. Less, right?
Less.
Way less. Okay. So now for the right foot, what was it? What do you think it was on a scale of 1 to 10? You said like a 6. Is it
Yeah.
6?
I would say 7.
A 7.
7.
What about for the left?
I would say 4.
A 4? Okay. All right. Let me get you to go do a couple exercises. This is a test if you have any ligament damage or
Sure.
bone damage, okay? So from this position right here, let me get you, let's straighten this out first. All right. And then let me get you to bend your toes over, make a fist. And tell me if you feel any pain or discomfort from anything. Is it easy to do?
It's easy to do, although on the right one, I feel like something, it's neutral sensation, but it's something that is not on the left.
Really? So you feel a difference still?
Yeah.
Okay, relax. Okay, spread your toes and tell me if you feel anything different. Like if you feel any type of...
No.
Spread them?
Like that?
Nothing?
No.
Pretty normal? Okay. Now wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds and tell me if you feel any type of pain or discomfort. Just wiggle.
Oh.
Any pain, discomfort from that?
Discomfort of the right side.
The right side?
Yeah.
Where is it at? Can you point it out to me?
Here.
Right here?
Yeah, when I'm trying to move or when I do this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you might want to get that checked because it could be ligament, something that's dealing with your ligaments. 'Cause
Okay.
you walk a lot, right?
Yes.
So you could sprain something and not know it. So that's why I have people do that to
Okay.
test that out to see how you feel about that. All right. So now let's get to the interview, okay? So from my approach, when I walked up to you and asked you to do the interview, was it good? Was it bad? Can I work on something?
It was good.
Okay.
It was good. I mean, a normal approach, I would say.
All right, thanks. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. In terms of the interview itself, right, from beginning to end, did everything make sense to you? Did you learn anything new from the interview?
It makes sense, and the way it flowed, it was making sense. And yes, I learned about
Reflexology?
reflexology. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad to get that to you. It's like a birthday present.
Yeah.
I gave you a birthday
Yeah,
present.
thank you. Thank
So
you.
the last thing I ask everybody to do who does the interview, from a mental health standpoint, maybe a life lesson that you learned down the road, like some wise words you can say to my channel that could be helpful to them?
Yeah, I would just quote a sentence that is for me very powerful that I listened the other day. You can wait to life to be less hard in order before you become happy. What I mean is that life is by itself like a test.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of challenging situations, and you cannot wait until the life sounds or looks like right in order for you to start feeling happy. So you have to be in the present mode and present situation and day and try to make the most of it and with a positive attitude, independent of whatever troubles or challenges
Yeah,
you are
no
in.
matter what you're going through. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Those are strong words. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for doing this with
Thank
me.
you to you.
And happy birthday again.
Thank you.
And hopefully you have a great one, okay?
You too.
All right.
Thank you.